Hey everyone, and welcome to Boss Advisory. Today we're going to talk about the formula to working less and earning more by Tim Ferriss. If you've spent enough time online, someone has probably tried to sell you an idea that you can quit your job and start your own business. That's one persuasive pitch. Yet, the fact that 57% of the business owners work 6 days a week and 20% work 7 days a week is completely ignored. They want independence, only to find themselves bound by the exhaustion of running a business. Overwork and its effects go beyond lost productivity to become a serious problem for business owners. Their health may suffer as a result. Tim Ferriss is living proof that you can follow your passion without sacrificing your health or happiness. And yet, it's what a lot of business owners need. With the success of his businesses, he was able to retire at a young age and devote his time and energy to pursuing his other life goals. Because of this, his book, The Four-Hour Workweek, became a New York Times bestseller, and he has attracted some of the most successful people in the world to his podcast. I won't make any bold claims like the ones he made. Consider this approach and implement it in your organization where you can. Even a small gain in work-life balance is worth it. Even he regrets using such a low figure because his deal strategy can make you earn more while working less. Why did you decide to launch a startup? There are Airbnb founders whose identities are inextricably bound up in the company's objective. The goal of Airbnb's CEO Brian Chesky is to build a community where everyone, no matter where they live, can feel at home. 66% of people desire greater leeway, and 47% think it will help them succeed. Still, business owners may not have a clear idea of what constitutes a successful venture. It's possible that they won't think about the implications for their quality of life beyond the numbers and income goals. Even if I was making a six-figure salary, I wouldn't consider myself successful if I had no say over how I spent my time. What is the point of all that preliminary effort? To what end would one's labor be put? Millionaires aren't what most people aspire to be. They wish to adopt the way of life that is prevalent there. They believe that the more money you have, the fewer things you actually need. If a mansion in Beverly Hills and a garage full of exotic automobiles represent success to you, then you may be on the right track. If that's the case, you should expect to be in the workforce for quite some time. Nonetheless, if you desire a life in which you just never have to worry about putting food on the table, then changing millions is a distraction. The goal of any sane business should be to maximize profits. This is their sole objective. Yet, you aren't a standard case study. You shouldn't put profit first at the expense of everything else. Things that brings us happiness yet aren't quantifiable nonetheless. In a nutshell, your idea of success need not coincide with anyone else's. Most people put money down over many years with the expectation of having a good time in retirement. Tim, however, rejects this and instead prefers to put in long hours at Sprint in order to fund frequent, brief retirements. You can use any model you choose. What is acceptable behavior is determined by you. If you know what you want and don't want to be in the way of your progress, now is the time to get rid of everything that might be in the way. The point is not to work faster, but to work smarter on the things that really matter. Tim gives whole attention to the things he is calling. Determine the top 20% of activities responsible for 80% of your progress and cut the fat. Stop squandering your time. It happens every time you annoy a company, which you dislike doing and which has no bearing on your success. And his is just one of many possible manifestations of his phenomenon. People who Tim chooses to meet with for special consideration, Tim saw through their masquerade and understood they were all forms of micromanagement. There will be time saving for all parties involved if he has faith in his employees to carry out their duties. Keeping up with the news and the media is often nothing more than a diversion, a measure of how much information is taken in that is useful for your goals, Tim suggests going on a media fast and having other people keep you informed of any breaking news. According to Parkinson's law, efforts tend to grow. If you tell yourself you'll be working long hours to get it done, you'll land yourself doing just that. Tim suggests imposing strict deadlines in order to propel oneself into a state of peak productivity. Another important consideration is not wasting time on projects that aren't going anywhere, such as trying to make money in ways that can't be scaled. A friend of mine who is trying to make it as an internet entrepreneur offered half-hour chunks of their time for $20 each and made a couple $100 in the first month. They were proud of themselves, but it was a trap. On their list of things to do was developing an online presence, which is directly proportional to how much time you are willing to devote to the profession. By ignoring the short-term gain, you risk losing the game. They put off paying the higher eventual cost. However, be wary of eliminating everything in the name of efficiency. On the Rangan Chatterjee's podcast, Claudia Hammond made a profound observation. It's preferable to put in extra hours of work in exchange for friendly conversations with coworkers and employees than to have more free time but spend it mopping around like a robot. Never force yourself to do anything. Avoid eliminating little pressures that bring you joy. We need to minimize the time investment required for the remaining jobs. The tough part is giving up your tried and true techniques, which may be labor intensive, but they get the job done. Letting go frees you up to delegate or automate, but remember, never automate what can be removed, and never delegate what can be automated or streamed. In order to be consistent with my responses and to set clear boundaries, I implemented an automated email response system. Many people, believing that being persistent is necessary to make connections, will continue to message you unless you explicitly tell them to stop. For just 5 minutes, I am able to claim the time that would have been spent responding to communications. Spending a few minutes online researching time-saving techniques could end up saving you a lot of time in the long run. Most things can be done using a smartphone app. There has never been a more opportune time to find solutions as businesses become increasingly competitive based on the quality of their interactions with customers. The hiring of additional help may be necessary for the successful entrepreneur whose workload has increased dramatically. Virtual assistants are surprisingly inexpensive, and they can free you up to focus on more important, high-value work. Letting go of control and learning to put your trust in your helpers is the most difficult part. This topic was discussed on a podcast by Tim Ferriss and personal finance expert Ramit Sethi. A Google file with Ramit's preferences has proven to be one of his best decisions. It's frequently the path of least resistance to just spend time doing things the way you've always done them. So being precise is the key so that you don't have to compromise on having everything the way you want it to be while still gaining time. But you'll be doing the same thing in another decade. Those who are flexible can continue to cut back on their work week. The same effort is required of each of them. You may still feel trapped in the hamster wheel even after completing the first 3 steps. It's likely that you can think of a recent period when you weren't occupied. Getting used to the way of life can be challenging. You've put in a lot of effort to get some kind of reaction. Your startup isn't everything in life. You can focus on other aspects of your life now. As a result of your carelessness, life is like juggling 5 balls. Work, family, health, friends, and spirit, said a man who rose higher in business than most people ever will. You will quickly learn that work is a flexible ball. It will bounce back if dropped. However, the other 4 balls, health, friends, and morale, are fragile and easily broken. In case you happen to drop one of them, they will permanently nicked, scratched, damaged, or shattered. When you're able to cut back on your hours, it's like putting the work ball down for a while. Since you now have only 4 balls to keep track of, you can devote more attention to each one and handle them with ease. You have the option of reintroducing the rubber ball whenever you feel like switching things up. You now have the freedom to spend more time with your family or focus on your health and fitness. Do anything you want with that. So that's how you define a happy and fulfilled existence. Tim went on an international adventure, started a podcast, and began training in martial arts. Exactly how would you characterize your dream? Thank you guys so much for watching Boss Advisory. And if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe, give this video a big thumbs up, hit the bell so you get notified on every new incredible content we make for you. Have a wonderful day and see you on the next one.